What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our college football channel. We continue with our 2021 predictions. Nebraska is up next. Is this the year that Nebraska finally gets things turned around? Scott Frost has had some time to build this program up. We haven't really seen those results just yet. But you look at this team for 2021, I think this might be his best team. I think it's definitely going to be the best defense that they've had at Nebraska since he's been there. Offensively, there are some good pieces there. The offensive line, probably one of the better offensive lines that they've had. Adrian Martinez, a veteran quarterback. It's going to be the playmakers around him. Who's going to step up, and can they take care of the football? They've had a turnover problem, especially Adrian Martinez. If they can clean that up, I think this team has a chance to have a pretty good year. They've got a tough schedule, though. The FBI has this team at 5.6 and 6.5, so they have them, right there on the borderline of maybe making it to a bowl game. A little bit closer to 6 and 6 than 5 and 7, but closer to 5 and 7, obviously, than 7 and 5. So they're right there on the borderline, maybe making a bowl game, maybe not making a bowl game. Athlon has them at 6 and 6. They do have them making it to a bowl game, and the over/under is at 6. So that's the projection for Nebraska, is to go about 6 and 6. If they can get to 7 and 5, I think it's a really good year. 5 and 7 obviously will be a disappointment. If this team misses out on a bowl game again, that is, again, a major disappointment. Here's the schedule for Nebraska. As you see, they open up the season with Illinois, and they'll play them on the road. This game was supposed to be in Ireland. Instead, they moved it back to the United States. They're going to play it at Illinois. That'll be week 0, so they were going to have some extra time to travel overseas, but when they moved it back, they decided to keep it on week 0, just, I guess, to keep the schedule and everything. So that's going to be it's not a huge game, but it's a Big Ten conference game on week 0, and that's a week where you don't really normally get very many good games. I think one year we had, I believe, Florida and Miami maybe played on week 0, but for the most part, it's usually games that aren't that great. But we have a good quality Power 5 matchup there. But anyways, back to the game. Illinois is a team that, as a veteran team, they got a new head coach, Brett Bielema, that's going to be a totally different team. They had a ton of guys transfer not too long ago. I just don't have very high expectations for Illinois. I think Nebraska will win that game. It'll be somewhat close. I think it's about a 10 to 17 point win. Two score game, maybe a 3-score game. But I do think Nebraska goes on the road and gets that win. I think they beat Fordham as well. So they're off to a 2-0 start before playing Buffalo on September 11th. This is a program that's been really humming along. They're one of the better teams in the MAC, but they lose their head coach. I think because of that, they're going to be a different team this year. I think Nebraska's able to. I think that's going to be an easy win, honestly. I think they'll beat Buffalo pretty easily. Then they're going to play Oklahoma on September 18th. They would have already played 3 games, so they've got some time to get some things figured out before going on the road to face one of the top teams in the country. And I've seen a lot of different opinions on this game. A lot of people think Oklahoma is going to win by 40 points. It won't be close at all. Then you have those that think, Nebraska is going to be good enough to keep this game pretty close. I don't really think many people are picking Nebraska to beat Oklahoma, and I'm not either. I think Oklahoma wins this game. But I think Nebraska will hang in there for a half. I think it's a close game at halftime. I think Oklahoma pulls away in the second half thanks to their offense. And I think they're an overall better team. I think both sides of the ball, Oklahoma's better than Nebraska, and they should be able to win this game. Michigan State here on September 25th, right after a tough loss to Oklahoma. We're talking about a Michigan State team that is trying to figure some things out offensively. I think they're going to be pretty solid on defense. I think this is a lower scoring game. I think it's a game that maybe comes down to turnovers. And when we're talking about turnovers, that has not been something that's gone in Nebraska's favor. I think Michigan State will win this game at home. They get a big win. Tough loss for Nebraska, but that's a winnable game. I think that's one that could go either way. If Nebraska has improved a good bit from last year, I think Nebraska wins this game. But I just, I don't know if they have or not. It's just hard to say at this point. I think they're going to be better, but how much better? That's the question. If they have improved a good bit, like I said, I think they can win that game. The Northwestern on October the 2nd. This is a home game for Nebraska. I'm not very high on Northwestern this year. I know that they've got a great coach and they've got a program that has really become pretty consistent, but they lost so much from last year. I think this is a little bit of a rebuild year for Northwestern. Plus, it's a home game for Nebraska. I think all of that goes in their favor. I think they find a way to win. A pretty close game, but they improved to 4-2. Then they'll play Michigan on October the 9th. at home, I think they've got a shot in this game. I think it's going to be a good one. Michigan's a team that it's tough to figure out right now. We don't know what we're going to get from them. I think Nebraska's defense, like I said, they'll keep them in this game. I think they're going to be pretty solid this year. But I'm going to go with Michigan. I think Michigan is just the more talented team. I think it'll be a close one. I think it'll be a good one. Playing at home, they'll have a chance. I think they'll have a really good chance, but I'm going to go with Michigan to get this win. Then they'll play Minnesota on the road on October the 16th. Minnesota is a team that I think a lot of people are overlooking. I think they're a dark horse contender in the Big Ten West. I think Nebraska is as well. Everyone's talking about Iowa and Wisconsin. I think Minnesota or Nebraska, one of these two teams, could surprise and maybe make a run in that division. And obviously the loser of this game is going to have a really tough time, and I think the loser of this game will be Nebraska. I just think Minnesota playing at home, this is going to be a quality team this year. It'll be a great game, but it's one I'm going to have to go with the Gophers on. Next game is going to be against Purdue. Now, they'll have a bye week after Minnesota. Then they'll have another one after Ohio State because they play that week 0 game. They get 2 bye weeks late in the season, which could bode well for them. I think it will bode well against Purdue. Purdue's a team that is still trying to get some things figured out. We thought Purdue was going to start improving. And, remember they beat Ohio State a few years ago. But just it hasn't clicked for them. And I think Nebraska's the better team. I think playing at home, they get this win. They take care of business. They improve to 5-4. Ohio State coming up next. Yes, that is a tough stretch to end the season. Ohio State, Wisconsin, and Iowa. Ohio State at home, I think Nebraska has a chance to maybe make this thing interesting. Maybe it's one of those upset alert games, potentially. But at the end of the day, I've got to go with Ohio State. They're just going to be too good offensively. I got to go with the Buckeyes. I think it's a pretty good game, but I think they pull away late. Wisconsin on November the 20th on the road. Tough place to play. I really like this Wisconsin team. I think they're going to be very solid on both sides of the ball. I don't think Nebraska is going to be good enough to win this game. I think they lose to Wisconsin. They drop to 5-6. Then they'll play Iowa in a game that is going to possibly keep them out of a bowl game once again, or maybe they win it this year. I really feel like they're going to be 5-6 going into that game, maybe 6-5. But if they are 5-6, of course, they're going to be playing for a lot in this game. It's turned into a little bit of a rivalry. Iowa has gotten the better of Nebraska, but Nebraska's been competitive. It's not like we've seen blowouts in these games. And I think Nebraska just needs this one a little bit more, just as a program, and get into that bowl game. I think they're going to come out and play so hard. They're playing at home. Home field advantage will be a difference. It's a close game, a low scoring. Maybe it's snowing in the game. Who knows? Low scoring defensive battle. Nebraska, though, finds a way to get it done late. They win this game over Iowa. They get to 6-6. They make it to a bowl game finally under Scott Frost, and maybe that's just the first step of getting this program really turned around. We'll have to wait and see. If they finish 5-7, though, that's a major disappointment. When you look at the schedule again, I've got them at 6-6. Let's say they lose to Iowa, they have a chance to beat Michigan, Minnesota, Michigan State. So there's potential for Nebraska to get to 7-5, or maybe even 8-4 this year. If they can put it all together. I haven't seen enough to where I believe confidently that they can do that, but I do feel confident enough that I think that this team can get to a bowl game. I've got Nebraska at 6-6. What do you guys think about the Cornhuskers? Give me your predictions down in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video, and stay tuned for more here on the SG1 Sports College Football Channel.